control.
Finance and wealth.
Keep track of your spending. And part of the spending, of course, as we said, be able to separate wants from needs. That's secondary.
Leadership and governance.
There are people who take on the political aspect and try to water down important, significant decisions we leaders take for the good of this country.
Not forgetting parenting.
Now you're raising kids or children who are in a totally different time. You get it. Those days your mother would just give you an eye and you know this is a problem.
There are visitors.
And it's just there are visitors
and
around.
Mom gives you this eye, you know?
Yes.
Catch more of this every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m.
A very good evening to you, our esteemed viewer. Thank you so much for watching us from way back where the day started up to now. You who have just come back from work, we welcome you back from wherever you have been. You who are still on your way, we wish you a safe journey back home, but also we welcome you to the show this evening. It's a pleasure having all of you, our family, tuned in, and this is Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Today is a Wednesday, and so here we are with our Wednesday edition of Family Finances and Wealth. And Edwin Austin Mukalazi is my name. Of course, we know that the year is just beginning. The whole of this month, people are still trying to gap up some of the holes that might have been left by the December expenditure. I think that's why people say that these are 100 days of January. Some other people call them 90. So people keep on reminding you from December that, hey, spend whatever you're spending, but remember there is January. I don't know why it has always been that people fear January more than any other month. However, that's not the reason we are here. We are not here to talk about the doom. We are here to talk about what will transpire in the entire year. We want to take you through the essential tips for drawing a result-driven work plan, because this is a month of drawing plans of what you want to achieve by what you want to achieve throughout the entire year. Now, if you do not have a plan, like we always say in a Flourishing Hub, that if you do not have a plan, then you'll always be in other people's plans. So that is why it is important for you to draw a plan. But drawing a plan is one thing, and having a result-driven work plan is also another thing. So today we want to look at the essential tips that you need, especially if your focus is on a result-oriented or a result-driven work plan. With us is Dr. Benita Rumanzi. Dr. Benita Rumanzi is the Director of Africa Population Institute, but of course he also gave birth to a new baby called the Chiga College, Bushali, KCB, a new secondary school, state-of-the-art secondary school in the Chiga district. Doctor,
yes,
it's a pleasure having you here in this new year.
Oh, thank you very much, Edrin. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here this evening. And good evening, our viewers. I am sure that wherever you're watching us from today, you'll be blessed as we truncate the essential tips for drawing a result-driven work plan. So I am sure that many of you are fidgeting with the issues of last year, but the Bible says, forget about the former things. Behold, the things are becoming anew. So right now, forget about what you didn't accomplish last year in 2024. This is 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up and draw a work plan that is going to work for you, and we will see you in December with the results.
Okay. Yeah. I think we shall first start with first of all, I want to commend you for one standing strong to give back to your community back home. You know, when people come to Kampala, they forget about where they come from. But probably this is one of your plans you had and you wanted to achieve. I remember one time we were having a casual talk, and you told me you wanted this school to open this year. And behold,
yes.
we see registration in progress.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Chiga College of Shari is a mixed day and boarding secondary school. State of art, like you said, because I don't think there is any school like that in Ruchiga, because we've tried to borrow a leaf from King's College Budo, Kira College Butiki, Kigezi College Butobere, and we have capsuled it into one at Chiga College Bushari. And I am sure that this school is going to transform generations. It is at the border of Rwanda and Uganda, just close to the border. So it will attract people from the region, not only Ugandans, but also Congolese. And what we want to make it like a hub, whereby we get a think tank, brains from different places, and then we become innovative.
Okay.
Actually, our strapline or motto is innovation and excellence.
Okay.
And we really want to reach out to the people, and we tell them, yes, Africans, we can do it. We can do it our own way. We can do it in our fashion. We can inculcate in our cultures and do something unique. Instead of our children running to study from different places, people think that going to international schools, that is the best way. And that's why they end up charging a lot of money. But here, we are giving people the quality education, but at the like affordable rates.
Okay.
If anything, we are giving people scholarships. Like the first people to turn up, they are getting bursaries at Chiga College Ushari.
Oh.
Yeah, and we are opening up. It is open for those who have completed the primary 7 right now. So we are expecting results to come on 20. I mean, around the 16th.
Yeah.
So when the results come, then admissions will begin. And those also who never had a chance to continue last year, then they can also now take it on, because we are giving scholarships to best performing students and those who are disadvantaged. We have very many orphans and vulnerable children, so we felt like we need to give back to the community. And the way we could find the vast land to develop was in it, that place. So we call upon partners also to join us, and we transform our continent.
So thank you so much for always thinking about giving back to the community. Now we are looking at essential tips. I'm interested in the word essential. Because tips might be many, but our interest is in those that are essential, especially when it gets to drawing a result-driven work plan. Now, we start with the work plan as a work plan. What is a work plan?
Okay, before maybe we go to the work plan, let's first look at the new year that has begun.
Okay.
This is a perfect time for people to draw that work plan you're talking about. A work plan is the schedule that you are dealing with, so that you are not sidetracked by anything else, but you feel you will remain focused, so that whatever you do is in line with what is pre-planned. Last time I talked about preparation being a key, like the one which was in the book that I wrote, Beating the Odds, the Unlimited Key to Success. A person who plans is far much better than a person who just does things haphazardly. You know, even the Bible tells us, you know, I love it, the Church of Uganda Family TV for always hosting me, because they give me the chance to share the scripture that has worked for me to the people. There is a scripture that says, how can someone build a house unless they have planned? So to plan is putting the cost together, and then you know what you will require, what will be required, and then deal with that. So if you plan accordingly, like this year has just begun, I know many did mistakes last year. There are some things that we did not accomplish, simply because maybe you went on Kampala Road and you had some money that was meant for something else, and you ended up buying something that you don't want. But if you have pre-planned, then you will not have even the buffer near you. Because if someone comes to offer you a better deal, you look at that deal as a no-nonsense because it will not be helpful
Yeah.
since you're already looking for money to accomplish what you pre-planned. So here we are helping individuals and organizations to track their achievements, because if you make a Gantt chart, you plan, so you know this one, if you accomplish it, you tick it, then you can't miss anything out. And here the work plan requires to have measurable results. So if I am going to make a work plan, let me have results, so that I will look at the results, not just like saying I am going to become a public speaker and then you have not had results. So let it be measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Yeah.
So you're talking about this work plan that has all this, but someone will still have a question still about the work plan. How do I sit down to draft a work plan? How does it even look like? I mean, how can I draft we are talking about a work plan, but someone is like, okay, do I just wake up and say, okay, this year I want to buy a car, I want to build a house, and just like that? Because according to someone, all those might be measurable, they might be achievable.
And realistic, and time bound. Yes, unless there is magic. But if there is no magic, then you have to provide the work plan. It provides clarity and direction of where you want to go. And it also enhances accountability, the things that are involved. Because if you say you want to have a car, then we need to know the sources, the possible sources of the finances, and how you're going to manage that car. Even when you have had a car, can you maintain it? We also consider that.
Am I also supposed to include the type of car that I want to have, that I want to buy?
Oh yes, if it is going to be a work plan, then you have to be specific. I mean, you cannot say I'm going to buy a Range Rover, maybe when your income is not commensurate to what we are talking about. So also when you make a work plan, it optimizes resource allocation. Then you know that how much money do I have in the pocket? And then vis-a-vis as you plan, because if you don't have any money in your pocket, you can't plan on buying a chopper. So then again, when you have a work plan that is drawn very well, it boosts motivation. You are motivated to work hard. Because a work plan is just like the set of activities that you need to accomplish. But those activities, like we said, they should be measurable and they are achievable. Therefore, then they are time bound. And again, don't set limited time so that you're on stress. A case reference like Chiga College Bushari, we did not build it this year only. Last year I was telling you about it. Even the other year, we had to put aside the resources, build the structures. And right now what we are putting in, the hardware is there, which are the structures. And now we are working on the software to make sure we recruit the right staff. And then we identify key partners. And then we put the labs and set the thing that are drivers of a school. So all of that was done not today. So I can't say we are registration is in progress because we did it a long time ago. No, it means we have carefully and orchestrated it to where it is right now. So the henceforth what we call smart goal. So whoever is there right now watching us, I encourage you just get a piece of paper and a pen. And then you write a few nuggets that we are going to share with you, like, because I will take them into the steps of writing a work plan. But meanwhile, let us
first look at the qualities of a good work plan. What should be, besides being having the acronym SMART, what are the other essential qualities of an achievable work plan?
Okay. An achievable work plan, we said that it should be measurable. Measurable, it means quantifiable. Quantifiable, you can count what you have achieved. Then achievable means realistic. That you are actually, it is realistic that you are not exaggerating. People can exaggerate, and unless you are believing in miracles. But if you don't, you can't exaggerate and think that it can be done. Then relevant, it has to be aligned with your priorities. So you know what you like, you know what you want to achieve, and then let it be relevant to that. And time bound, you must be having those deadlines. But again, in identifying priorities, there is what we call key result areas. Those key result areas are the ones which show you whether you have reached there or you are still very far. When we were still young, there is a game that we used to play of hide and seek. Hide and seek would ask people that, are you ready? Of course, the language was different. We used to say, are you ready? We didn't know that we were meaning that, are you ready? But they would show you that when you are getting near, they will tell you, yes, you are getting near. And when you go far, they tell you are going far. So that you now know that, let me concentrate in this area because I'm getting closer to what I'm looking for. And then when you go far, you know, they tell you are going far, then you don't need to do what? To continue. You retreat and come back. So that is how we identify priorities. Then we break down the goals. So to break down the goals here, there are very large goals that you want to achieve. But then those large goals, they cannot be achieved just at once. So break them down and know that I will begin with this. It is like setting a foundation of a building. Yes, the goal is to complete a building. But then the smaller goals would be like, by this time, I will have finished laying a foundation. By this time, I will have finished putting up the walls to the wall plate. Then by this time, I will be roofing. By this time, I will be probably shutting and closing and maybe plastering. So those are small goals, but out of the big goal that you want to achieve. And when you put it together, it will help you now to come up with those measurable kind of, because when I complete the foundation, I know that is a done deal. I have finished it. Then I go to another one. So it is like a step of a ladder. You keep climbing higher and higher.
At that point, we've seen scenarios. For example, someone says, I've finished this foundation. But then probably they realize that the foundation that is offered or that is completed is not matching with the architectural plan. In your work plan, should there always be reservations of instances like that?
Let me tell you, Adrian, you know, we said a work plan will help you not to get into those not to make those mistakes. Because if you had a work plan, then it is more or less like the building plan. So there are some errors that you avoid simply because you have a work plan. Those errors are the ones like saying maybe the foundation was supposed to be 9 by 9 and then for you forget because you didn't have a work plan, you ended up doing it as 6 by 9 and then it is shaky. So the Bible says if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? So in this case, you need to define the metric to success. And then that metric to success shows you that if I am to achieve this, then my foundation should be laid deep and strong. And therefore even if someone comes with a very brilliant deal and gives it to you, you will not go with that person because you already have a demand on what you are doing. So like if you have money and it is just there and it is redundant, there is always someone who will use it for you. You said that in the flourishing hub, that you say that if you don't make a plan, then you will end up being included in other people's plans. Yes, there are people who think for you if you don't want to think for yourself. So wake up in the morning, you know what you're supposed to do. Actually, this year, if you have said that you want to achieve this, even if someone tells you that there is gold mine here, you will not run there because you already know what to achieve. So, like I said, set realistic timelines whereby you will not put yourself on pressure. Because if you say that you're going to build a building and you want to finish it in 1 month, even that building will be shaky and it will develop some cracks. So sometimes you need to allow it to set and then go on and on. So by setting realistic timelines, you will not stress yourself, and again you will be able to achieve the objective as soon as possible. Then the issue of adjustment you talked about, like must you be like very what do I use? Okay, you need to be very flexible. flexible in a such a way that if at all there is an error here, there is a reservation for what? For editing it out and maybe redoing it or something like that. Because at the end of the day, if you become rigid, then you beat yourself so hard that you can even break. Because if you find that you have made a mistake and the mistake cannot be undone, the stress will mount up. At the end of the day, you say, how do I go about this? But if you had that little bit of flexibility, you allow some mistakes to go through and some errors, and then you'll do recollections and you're able to deal with it. Then again, let's leverage technology. Let's use the tools that are available. You know, like on a computer, on your computer, there must be like a window, like Microsoft Planner. Just put it on the corner of the window of your computer. You type there a few things that this morning I've woken up, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, the TTD, the things to do list. And then at the end of the day, before you leave your workplace or your workstation, you're able to look through and say, what have I accomplished today? Because me, I can wake up in the morning and I know what I'm supposed to do. But when I reach the workplace, if I've not written it in this diary, chances are I may be sidetracked by other things that I'm working on, and I forget to prioritize. So you prioritize and Jane, right. No, I have accomplished this. So at the end of the day, I go ticking. I may fail to do 2 because I don't want to beat myself like I must accomplish all of them. I may fail to do 2, but the 3 that I would have done, I would have done them very well. And it will help me to achieve. Then tomorrow I will begin with the other 2 before I add what? 3 or 5 more. And that's how successful people work. And that's what helps them to accomplish much.
Okay. Before we get into, because you said you want to take us through a work plan, but before we go there, I also have another concern. We look at a situation where, for example, we had a COVID-19 outbreak. It took everyone almost unaware. At the start, no one expected that they would lose maybe their jobs, and then before you know, people are losing jobs, businesses are closing, and all that. And you realize that very many people had to adjust accordingly. And up to now, there are people who have never woken up.
Especially schools.
Now,
they are renting at that time.
Now, we look at such a situation, and you already had your work plan. What do you do in such a situation? Do you have to cross out the work plan and close your hands? Or you keep thriving no matter what?
There are eventualities that cannot be avoided. Like COVID-19, when it hit, at least it hit everyone, including the most developed countries like the US and France and Spain. You know how it devastated human activity. But at that time, still, when you are making a work plan, there is a reservation of what you put there as a contingency, the unexpected stuff that comes, that pops out. So that one, you deal with it. That's why now, like, teachers had to go for, many schools actually closed, and teachers had to go for bricklaying and what, because they had to think outside the box. They had to think that it is not only the job that sustains us, we can still do something else. So what happened, it was like an eye-opener. It opened up their mind to think, and they had to do things that would sustain them, because jobs were no longer there. So this is now what helps you to think. Problems helps people to think. Like I would give an example, that there was a certain flower garden somewhere, and a man used to wake up every morning and water it, and it was like, it blossomed and it was looking very nice. And another one did not take care of their flower garden. But when the storm came and the rain, it washed out the other flower garden that looked good, and the other one, which was like not looking desirable, it stayed. Do you know what the reason they gave? They said the other one, which was not desirable, because it was not watered, it had to put their taproot further and to survive on its own without depending on these dairy filters and cans and watering. So likewise, the same way we raise children, the children who have gone through soft hands, they usually don't do much because they are like everything, they are being pampered. So they don't have the self-survival skills. So sometimes it's good also to learn your own way. So the teachers, that's why we are again on COVID-19, they had to stand and understand that, yeah, it is not business as usual, therefore let's do something that can sustain us.
Does it just
that was part of the work. I mean, if it was the work plan is like being strict on one thing that you need to do, that's why we said you need to have some little bit of flexibility. Not to be rigid.
Okay.
Flexibility will allow you get on other ventures and you are able to continue.
I still have questions on the flexibility, because we are operating in a world where people are so lazy, and one of the things is procrastination. People want to procrastinate everything. So when they realize they are failing out on the achievement, to achieve maybe what they have set in the first quarter of the year, then they'll say, let me push it to the next quarter. And then not because they have failed, but because maybe somewhere someone became so reluctant and relaxed, and they didn't want to bother themselves out. So at what point should the flexibility come in?
Actually, flexibility, it is, it shouldn't be encouraging laziness. Being flexible would mean that you are just adjusting to do something else, but not just to relax. Because if I said, like, in the morning I wake up and on my Microsoft Planner, I put there, like, I want to accomplish 5 things in a day. Then at the end of the day I work and then I find that I've accomplished 3. If I postpone the 2 for tomorrow, then tomorrow I will add on those. But I will make sure that the ones I had written are all done. So now the issue of procrastination you have talked about is actually an enemy of progress. Because when you procrastinate, that in a quality assurance, we don't keep something for the next day. If you can do it today, finish it, and then tomorrow you have what? Another thing to be done. Just like the way the Bible says that if someone comes to you to borrow for salt or to ask you for something, don't tell him go and come back tomorrow, and yet you do what? You have it. So the same can apply on this work plan. First, do it. Do it with your best, with your might. So if you fail, you also know that you have failed, not because you are lazy, but because the work was too much. Then tomorrow, begin from where you stopped and then add on. At least maybe someone can say, we have already spent now 80 days in a year. But there are people who have accomplished much already in the 80 days. And there are those who haven't started, they still think that the year is still what? Young. But ideally, if you make a work plan, stick to that work plan, adjust where necessary, but not a must. Adjust a little, fine-tune it, and you will achieve the success that is desired.
You've reminded me of a meme that I read on the 1st of January, where someone was saying, it is exactly 11 months and 30 days to end this year. What have you achieved? Well, we are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we are going now to get into the steps of drawing a work plan. Kindly stick with us. Welcome back from that short break. Well, to some it was long because they couldn't wait to have us back. But here we are to get into our second part of the show. Just in case you're just joining us, this is the second part of this show. And we are looking at essential tips for drawing a result-driven work plan. And before that break, of course, we looked at quite a number of things, the reservations, the qualities of a good work plan. Now, we want to look at the steps, the practical steps of drawing a work plan. And with us is Dr. Benita Rumanzi. Doctor,
Yes.
we pick it up from there.
Oh, okay, thank you. And like I said, people should be having a paper and a pen because we are going into practical steps on how to draw this work plan that works. First and foremost, you reflect on the previous performance. You know what you failed to accomplish last year. You know very much what you need or what you desire to accomplish this year. Therefore, let's use the one we failed to accomplish last year as a baseline to benchmark what we need to accomplish this year. So when we analyze that, what we did in the previous year, then we will know how to deal with the next year. Number 2, let's prioritize the goals. Because yes, all of us have desires, and you know that human needs are insatiable. They will never end. So therefore, we require that we prioritize by making a scale of preference, and then you make an order on which you're going to achieve. So if I have 10 or 20 things on my list, then I should categorize them to those which are more pressing and end with those which are less pressing. But we always have like what we call very important and urgent. That should be the most pressing. And those which are important but less urgent, you can keep them. And those which are not important and not urgent, put them at the end of the list.
Maybe you can give us an example.
That one will help you to align your vision.
An example of what someone should consider as urgent, because there is someone who looks at data as something urgent to go on TikTok or to watch people's statuses, and they look at it as urgent. So what are some of the things we should consider under things that are urgent? Things that are developmental, things that add value on you. If TikTok is adding value on you, is educating you, is teaching you, then you consider it urgent in your own capacity. But like right now, this is January, people are planning to pay school fees for their children. I believe that everyone should be prioritizing and say, whatever money I get, let me save it. Because February is coming, I'm going to pay school fees for my children. And then that is urgent and important. And then thereafter, you know that there is the first one, your children need to feed. Maybe that one is more important. Then you categorize them until maybe clothes right now, clothes for children may be less important and what and so urgent. Categorize them in that. I have used that as just an example, as a pseudo example, but that is exactly what you do when you are making priorities or setting priorities goals. But ideally what it determines is number 3 now, allocating resources strategically. Because resources, they are always not enough, like I said. So you need to prioritize. Know which one should I pay for first before I pay for the other. I will use an example of Okonko in the Okonko. You made a list of debts in the things fall apart, a list of debts that he has to incur. He incurred. And whenever someone came, he said, I'm going to begin with the a lot of money. The other one is the other one demands me a lot of money, but they've not even come to demand me.
Yes, so I will first settle those ones. Then if you come with a lot of money, say there are these who demand me less. So let me begin with those ones. But that is camouflaging. But again, when you look at that, ensure that you have necessary tools and finances to support that achievement that you want to achieve. But if necessary, also require training. Train yourself. There is an online training there is a training like we are doing right now. Someone who is taking their time to listen to us. They want to better themselves. They want to see what they did not do last year very well, and they want to collect it. And that one will solve stress. Because you realize that, yes, there are things that you don't know. Those are the ones that are affecting you. But the Wachiga have a saying that that something that you have already seen, literally it cannot destroy you, or it cannot destroy your hole when you are digging. So all of that tells you what people need to do in order to prioritize. So first and foremost, look at the previous performance. 2, look at prioritizing your goals. Then 3, allocate the resources strategically. Then number 4, engage stakeholders. You can't do it alone. You know, there is a saying that goes that no man is an island. Let me tell you, you can accomplish much through other people. Like as a manager, right now you can say, people were asking me, but Dr. Ben, you do a lot of things, and we wonder how you do it. It's because I have a team which believes in me. Right now I'm not recovered. I'm not on the ground what is happening. I'm not at API. I'm not at Mama Africa International School. But I am just here. But because I gave them a sense of leadership, they listen to me. Whoever wants to get an instruction can text me, can do what, and then I give them a go ahead and do what. So you can only accomplish much through others. What you do as an individual, Edwin, is very less. Look at these highly effective people in our country, or people with business empires. They have a big staff base that believes in them and who are willing to go an extra mile to work for them because they are motivated to do that. So therefore, engage stakeholders. Also your business partners, your staff, your customers are also your stakeholders. And also they may be, whoever gives you the input, they are also what? Your stakeholders. So by involving them, you're creating a sense of ownership that people can stand and say, yeah, the manager of Family TV is not here, but you say, yes, this is our TV, right? I want you to have that sense of belonging, that this is your what? Your workplace, and therefore you treasure it and you deal with it. And finally, visualize your plan. Create presentation of your plan through like make the dashboard. You know, like on a computer there's what we call a dashboard. You can create, if you don't have a computer where you can visualize it, draw a chart, hang it there. Me, I remember like in my bedroom I would put like a house which I said this is the house that I want to do what? To build. And then I keep looking at it every time I wake up, and it keeps on sinking into my mind, and it motivates me to work hard in order to do it the same way I desired it. So by making that, or you can make a chart, you can even create a calendar on your calendar. When you get it, I have a calendar in the sitting room, I have a calendar in my bedroom, I have a calendar at my office. All I have to do is circle everything. I know on such a day I'm going to be here. On such a date I'm going to do this. All that makes you highly effective. Because if you don't do that, I'm telling you, the wind is always there to blow you to where it wants you to be. And the people are always there to put you in their plans. In their plans. So of recent, I think it was last year, I was in the US and I traveled in a plane, a passenger plane, a train, the railway line. So when I was there, I knew that when you enter a bus, like here in Uganda, you have to greet people. I went and I greeted the woman and she looked at me with a very keen eye. And I said, I went past her, I went to another one. I greeted the man, I also looked at me the same way. Then I'm like, these people. Then I went and sat with a young girl. She had putting on earphones and seated like this. Then I talked to her and they were like, she looked at me like maybe this African wants to steal from me or something like that. Then I conceived an idea that the lost art of human connection. I realized that people are no longer connected. They are like, we are living like animals. Then I visited a certain family. When we are there, I saw a woman was texting a daughter to come for dinner. Then a daughter was upstairs. She came down. Instead of now like sitting on the dinner table and start talking to mom, she's on phone. Mom is on phone. And they are also laughing. They are on phone talking. No, I mean, I thought like the dinner setting is a place where people should meet and talk. Then I remembered what I studied in literature. And in the book, The Things Fall Apart by Kinwachebe. There is where they said that when kinsmen gather at the village square during moonlight, it doesn't mean that there is no moon in their compound. But they gather simply because it is good for kinsmen to do so. It is good for people to be together, to live together. Like I said in the work plan, that you need to engage stakeholders. No man is an island. So I now came up with this book, which is The Lost Art of Human Connection. It is a guide to navigate the digital age to maintain authentic relations. So this one will help people to understand that what you can accomplish through others. As a manager, you don't need to get into micromanagement and do everything yourself. All you have to do, motivate the staff and let them do the donkey work for you, and you take the glory and you shine. That's what happens. So now, how to maintain that authentic relation? That's the guide now that I would encourage people to get. This one is still sealed. I cannot open it to read for them the contents, but ideally, that's what people need to do to understand. So, like, those are 5 practical steps for making a work plan. Reflect on the previous performance, where you failed, prioritize your goals, allocate the resources strategically, then engage stakeholders and people around you, and then visualize your plan. For sure, by 31st December, you will thank me that your vision will have gone.
Now, having seen the steps, what are some of the common mistakes to avoid while drawing a work plan?
Yeah, people make very serious, we call them heinous mistakes when they are drawing work plans. They usually set vague goals. When I talk about vague goals, I mean goals that are ambiguous. Goals like, I want to be better at time management. If I say I want to be better at time management, do you know what that means? It is so big and you can't know how to be better. But let me give them a practical example. If you can replace that vague word and you say that I want to reduce the meeting duration by 30 minutes every time we are meeting. You understand? Yeah. Every time we are meeting, at least we reduce it by 30 minutes. Do you know what we shall have done? It means that it is quantifiable. Yeah. We have been spending too much time in meetings, and then, yes, I want to reduce my lunch time to this amount, so that I use it for productive purposes. All that. That is now how we avoid that mistake, making vague statements. If you say, I want to go to the gym, I want to go to the gym. Yes, if you go to the gym, it will be measured by the amount of weight loss, or the calories added, or maybe I would call it the stamina achieved.
And the muscles built.
And the muscles built. It should be seen. So let's look at that. Then there is also another mistake of being over-ambitious in planning. My friend, if you are over-ambitious, you bog yourself. You strain your mind. You strain your muscles and body if you become over-ambitious. So taking on too much, it affects you. You just bite what you can chew.
But we always told that it is good to dream big.
Yes, it is good to dream big, but focus on a few impactful goals rather than spreading yourself too much. You may end up accomplishing less. Yes, I can try to do everything, and at the end of the day, you end up doing nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
So what you do is, yes, I can stretch my faith and become ambitious, but again, I have reservation how to get there. And again, you should trust what you are capable of doing. Yes, not hearing that maybe I've built a secondary school in 2 years and you're like, yes, I can do it.
Bisoboka.
Do you know bisoboka?
I can do it.
Yes, but plan it ahead of time. It will come to pass. Then number 3, another common mistake is ignoring feedback. People look at feedback as criticisms. They look at people when they tell you, please don't do this, and you feel like, no, this guy is trying to bug me and what. Let me tell you, these celebrities you see, when they post something online, on social media, those ones who encourage them and say, oh, you look wonderful, you look beautiful, Ochikuba, they even ignore such. They ignore such. But they focus on the one who tells them, your hair was not well styled, your colors are crashing.
That outfit was...
They look at all those negative feedbacks, because those are the ones which will help to improve them. But if you just pamper them and tell them, yes, you are okay, man, you are that one will not grow them. So only they can read 1,000 comments just looking for one negative one, because the negative one is the one which is going to work for them. So let's not ignore feedbacks when we are making work plans. So feedbacks can come from colleagues, they can come from stakeholders, and in most cases colleagues may fear. That's why we have suggestion boxes at workplaces. Suggestion box. And in most cases, people fear to write suggestion box, and they say in the suggestion box, and they say, if you write, they will know my handwriting. But I can go home and give it to my son and say, write this for me, so that I can drop it, so that the manager knows that he's bugging us. You understand? Then you
can simply type it.
You can simply type it and print it. But again, they will know the tone of your language. They know that if Dr. Ben is writing, we know how his English flows. Therefore, we know the tone, we will know that is him. But anyway, all in all those are constructive feedbacks. In whichever form it comes in, don't pinpoint who has done it, but look at it as something that is able to better you and make you a better person. Then number 4 is failing to track progress. That is also a mistake. People don't track progress. They just say, yes, I'm doing very well. But when you need to be having a strong monitoring system that will help you to not to drift off the course, you stay on course. So set up periodic reviews to assess progress and make necessary adjustments before it is too late. That's why when we are planning like this year, you plan in quarters. If you want to achieve much, let's plan. If you can't plan weekly, if you can't plan monthly, let's plan in quarters. A quarter is 3 months. And we know that we have 4 quarters in a year. So the first 3 months, evaluate yourself and say, how much have I achieved? How much have I got? Then the second 3 months, the same. Then by September, you know. Then by November, there you are like, I'm rushing. Go back from the first one and try to to purge it. Wherever there is a hole, try to do what? To purge it. And finally, there is completing the plan. Over complicating the plan, sorry. So if you complicate the plan, it becomes like a cobweb. A cobweb have you ever seen like a Uzi, a thread? If it is mixed, for you to separate it becomes so hard. So make it really very okay, so that you don't fight with it too. Make it very easy. So overly complex plans can be hard to follow, and they have even very difficult to implement. So gentlemen and ladies who are watching us, this is a take home. Please avoid those 5 common mistakes when you want to achieve that.
Doctor, as we wind up this discussion, what are your closing remarks to someone who is watching us and probably they have set down their goals, they have set down what they want to achieve this year, but probably their big question is how? I want to achieve this and this and this, but how am I achieving is the other thing.
Now, the action is they have written their plan.
Yes.
Okay? and they are working towards achieving that plan. So I would encourage them and say, please don't think that being perfectionist or being perfect is when you are going to achieve that plan. No. Yes, you can. There are mistakes that are involved, but just focus on the progress and align it with your desired outcomes. Then again, just know, this is the final remark, every successful journey begins with a map, a road map. So if you have that map, that is now we call what? A work plan. That will help you to be productive and impactful in this year. So all of you today, I think we have assisted you to make that roadmap. So let's follow that roadmap and we stick on it. And let me tell you, when we are growing up, they said determination plus hard work is equal to what?
Success.
To success. So please let us be determined and we embark on the journey of planning. And together we can make it. So thank you very much for listening to us. And I believe you have learned something.
We appreciate you, Doctor, for your time, and thank you so much for being with us this evening amidst your busy schedule. I know up to now you have a pending program, but we are really grateful that at least you've given us this 1 hour to be with us, share with us, and indeed there have been insightful ideas. Thank you so much. And to your viewer, we are grateful. Thank you so much for always watching Church of Uganda Family TV.
I don't know if they can always give us feedback by...
this is good news to our viewer that very soon something new is coming on board. We are going to start giving you an opportunity to give us your feedback live in the shows. So very soon, and we need to talk about very soon, so just know it can be as soon as tomorrow or the other day, but you will be having an opportunity to call in and ask your question so that you get feedback there and then. But you can as well share your feedback on social media platforms. You who is watching us on YouTube, you can leave a comment, or if you're watching us from wherever you're watching us, there's even a provision on our app where you can leave your comment, and that comment will be received by the digital team. So technology has taken us that far, so you shouldn't shy away in commenting. Please send your feedback and it will be received, and if it needs Doctor coming back here, he will come back and clear your comment. But all in all, we appreciate you. As we go to rest, just remind you that on the 19th of this very month, those are a few days from now, we have a very big event that is awaiting. Of course, every Thursday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 4 p.m. we see AYF in worship. And now this band, it is Anglican Youth Fellowship Band, has been there for 40 years, and of course they have been in their celebration of 40 years, and the climax is on the 19th of January at All Saints Cathedral in the new sanctuary. Therefore, you are invited. Come and celebrate with the AYF. Come and listen to their story of the good music that they always give us. You can't just miss, because we want to hear the 40 years journey, celebrating success. They have a lot of achievements to celebrate. Now you come and be part. Doors will be open at exactly 2 p.m. 2 p.m. All Saints Cathedral, New Sanctuary, on the 19th of January. It will be a Sunday, so go for fellowship wherever you'll be fellowshipping from that day, and then after the service in your local church, come to All Saints, and then we celebrate together with the AYF band. But I've worked with Muhumuza and Naya and Jonan, and from the entire team, we wish you a blessed night.
Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Together, we build strong, healthy, and thriving families with our daily dose of inspiration and expert insights on topics that matter, like